You walk into your living room, sit down next to your cat, look them dead in the eyes and say, "Hey, how was your day? Are you happy? Do you love me?" And your cat stares at you for exactly 3 seconds, slowly blinks, and walks away. You sit there wondering if you just got rejected by a small furry animal. Here's the real question though. What did they actually understand in that moment? Every single word you just said, or nothing at all. Most people assume their cat is basically operating on 2 settings, hungry and not hungry. Those words mean nothing, that they're just reacting to. Sounds the same way they'd react to a door creaking or a bag rustling. But here's something that might change the way you see your cat forever. Cats aren't aloof. They aren't indifferent. They aren't checked out. They are choosing. Every single day, they are deciding who deserves to see the real version of them. And most people never make that list. Not because they did something wrong, but because they never knew what their cat was actually listening for. A groundbreaking research team in Japan proved that cats pick up and respond to specific words their owners use every day. Real words. Real understanding, not just sounds. And one of those words, one that almost every single cat owner uses, might be doing more damage to your relationship with your cat than you realize. We're going to go through every word on this list, but stay with me until the very last one, because the final word, I promise you, will completely reframe every interaction you've ever had with your cat. Let's get into it. Point 1, they know their own name. Okay, tell me if this has happened to you. You're standing in the kitchen. Your cat is somewhere across the apartment. You call their name once, clearly no food in sight, and they come padding around the corner, sit directly in front of you, look you straight in the face, and then turn around and walk back to wherever they came from. You probably thought they didn't understand. They were just curious about the noise. They understood. They absolutely understood. In 2019, a research team at Sophia University in Japan ran a study that completely changed what we thought we knew about cats and language. They tested dozens of cats and found something remarkable. Cats can consistently distinguish their own name from random words, even from words that sound almost identical to their name. The brain activity was there. The recognition was real. So why did they come running the way a dog would? Because your cat was never built to obey. Dogs were bred over thousands of years specifically to respond to human direction. Cats, they domesticated themselves. They showed up at human settlements, decided it was useful, and stayed entirely on their own terms. When your cat hears their name, they don't process it as a command. They process it as information, and then they make a decision. Is responding worth it right now? If your name usually leads to something good, food, play, warmth, affection, they come. If your name has sometimes led to a career being pulled out or a bath being run, don't hold your breath. The cat that ignores you hasn't forgotten you exist. They're waiting to see if you've earned a response today. Here's what I want you to do right now, literally right now, while you're watching this. Say your cat's name once, just once, flat tone, no treat in your hand, no excitement in your voice, and just count how long it takes before they react. Don't worry if they don't come running. That's not the point. Just watch what they do. We're coming back to what you noticed at the very end of this video, and it's going to make a lot more sense then. Now, if your cat is tracking their own name with that level of awareness, the next question is obvious. What else have they been quietly picking up this whole time? Because point 2 is where it starts to get uncomfortable. Point 2, they know what no means, and you might be using it against yourself. Here's a scene every cat owner has lived through. Your cat is on the kitchen counter, or scratching the corner of the couch, or staring directly at you while slowly pushing something toward the edge of a table. You say no, once, sharp, firm, and they freeze. They stop, they look at you, and you think, good. They understood, they listened. Here's what's actually happening. Your cat isn't responding to the word. They're responding to the sudden change in your energy, the sharpness, the volume, spike, the emotional charge that came with it. That jarring shift in your tone created a signal, and their nervous system responded to the signal, not the syllable. They learned that when that specific sound happens, something uncomfortable usually follows. So they stop, not because they respect a rule, but because they want to avoid the discomfort. Now here's where most people get it wrong. When you use no too often, too loudly, in the wrong moments, your cat doesn't develop discipline. What they develop is a quiet association between your presence and stress. Most cat owners believe they are training their cat. What they don't realize is that their cat has been training them, quietly deciding which version of you is safe to be around. around. And which version isn't? Over time, if that association builds, they hide more. They flinch when you move too fast. They stop coming to you when you call. Not because they forgot the bond, but because you accidentally rewired what your presence means to them. I had a cat once who used to be all over me, every evening, right next to me on the couch. And then I went through a really stressful period. Work, life, everything. And I didn't realize how much of that tension was coming through in my voice at home. She started sitting across the room, not leaving, just further. It took me a while to figure out that she hadn't changed. I had. And the moment I brought my tone back down, she was back next to me within a week. The cat owners who build the deepest bonds are the ones who use no like it's a rare resource. One calm, firm tone, no repetition, no yelling, and then immediately redirect them towards something they can do. That's the correction that doesn't cost you trust. And hey, if this is making you rethink the way you've been communicating with your cat, hit subscribe so we can get this in front of more cat owners who deserve to know what's actually going on inside their cat's head. It genuinely matters. Point 3. They know what treat means, but they figured it out entirely on their own. Okay, after that last one, we need a moment of joy. Because there is one word in the English language with an almost supernatural ability to make a cat materialize out of thin air, regardless of where they are in the building. You already know what it is. Treat. You could be 3 rooms away. You could whisper it. You could think about saying it, and somehow your cat is already sitting at your feet, staring up at you with the focused intensity of someone who has been waiting for this moment all day. How do they do that? Well, over 100 years ago, a scientist was running experiments with dogs and food. Nothing groundbreaking, or so he thought. But one day, he noticed something he couldn't explain. His dogs had started salivating before the food arrived, just from sounds that had previously come before the food. A tone, a footstep, a routine noise. He hadn't trained them to do this. It happened on its own. What he had accidentally discovered, what your cat does every single time you reach for that bag, is that when the same sound is followed by the same reward enough times, the brain stops waiting for the reward. It builds a direct wire between the sound and the feeling. No thinking required. The sound alone is enough. Your cat didn't sit through any lessons. You never ran training drills. You just said the word before handing over the treat over and over, and their brain did the rest, quietly, automatically, completely without your help. But here's the part that gets even stranger. Researchers also discovered that cats respond more strongly to high-pitched voices than lower ones. And the reason isn't what you'd expect. It's not because high-pitched voices sound friendlier. It's because high-pitched sounds closely mimic the distress calls that small prey animals make. So when you look at your cat and start talking to them in a soft little baby voice, you might be accidentally triggering something ancient in their brain that has nothing to do with affection. You're talking baby talk. They might be hearing a mouse. Let the audience sit with that. But back to treat, because it goes even further than the word itself. Some cats aren't even waiting for the word anymore. They've built an entire sensory chain. The specific cabinet you open, your footsteps heading toward the kitchen at a certain time of day, the particular crinkle of the bag. They assembled a complete map around one single moment in their day. And here's what I want you to sit with. Your cat doesn't just run to you because a treat is coming. Their brain has learned through hundreds of small repeated moments that you are the thing that makes good things happen. In their world, you are the treat. Point 4. They know your other cat's name too. If you have more than one cat, I need you to think back. How many times have you called one of your cat's names and watched the other one look up? Maybe they glanced toward the door that the cat usually walks through. Maybe they turned their head in the direction that the cat was sleeping. You brushed it off. You figured it was the sound or the movement or pure coincidence. It wasn't a coincidence. Not a single time. In 2022, a research team at Kyoto University in Japan published a study that stopped the animal behavior world in its tracks. They found that cats living in multi-cat households don't just recognize the sounds of their housemates' names. They understand who those names belong to. They know the name. They know the face. And they connect them. Here's how the researchers proved it, and this part is extraordinary. They played a cat's name out loud through a speaker. At the same time, they showed a photo on a screen, sometimes the correct cat the name belonged to, sometimes a completely different cat. When the wrong face appeared after the right name, the cat stared significantly longer. That longer stare is one of the most reliable signals in animal behavior research. It means something violated their expectation. It means they were surprised. They heard the name. They built a prediction. The wrong face showed up, and they noticed the mismatch. Think about what that means for a second. Your cat has been quietly constructing a mental map of your entire household. Every person, every other animal, every name, every relationship. They didn't didn't ask you to teach them this. Nobody sat them down and ran flashcard drills. They figured it out just by living alongside you, by watching patterns you didn't even know you were creating. Your home, in your cat's mind, is a fully mapped social world, and they know every single person in it. If you have a friend or a family member who genuinely believes their cat doesn't understand a single thing they say, send them this video right now, because their cat has been listening to every word. They just haven't figured that out yet. And the next time your other cat looks up the moment you call someone else's name, just know they understood exactly who you were talking about. They just decided to be a little nosy about it. The bonus reveal. We said 5 words. Here's one more. This one has nothing to do with food, nothing to do with correction, nothing to do with other animals. This is the word that, more than any other, reveals just how closely your cat has been paying attention to you. Research now suggests that cats living in homes with more than one person begin to pick up on the names that humans use for each other. Not in the way they learn treat, not through reward, just through observation. When someone in your home calls your name, when your partner, your roommate, your child says it across the room, your cat may already be turning to look at you before you've even responded. They learned it the same way they've learned everything else on this list. By living alongside you, by watching, by quietly filing away every pattern until the picture was complete. They never needed a lesson. They never needed you to sit down and make it a priority. They just needed to live with you long enough, to care enough, to want to understand you. Which brings us to the final word. The one we promised at the very beginning would change how you see your cat forever. Here it is. Point 5. They know what come here means. Before we get there, remember that challenge from the beginning? You said your cat's name. Flat tone, no treat, no excitement, just their name once. Maybe they looked at you. Maybe they didn't move, but their ear rotated toward you. Maybe they got up and actually walked over. Here's what just happened in that moment. Your cat heard their name, a sound they've learned is directed specifically at them, and they ran a quick internal calculation. Is this person worth responding to right now? What usually comes after this? And whatever they did, whether they came or didn't, was a completely deliberate answer to that question. That was the 2019 study happening in real time, in your living room, with your cat. Now, come here. Have you ever said those 2 words and watched your cat actually walk toward you? Not because food was coming, not because you were holding anything, just you called and they came. Most people laugh. They think it was a coincidence, a lucky moment. They move on. Your cat didn't learn come here from a training session. They learned it from you, from the hundreds of small moments when those words were followed by something that felt safe, something warm, something worth walking toward. You said it and then held them close. You said it and they ended up somewhere comfortable. You said it and the world got a little softer for a few minutes. And so they kept coming back. Every other word on this list was about food or correction or science. But come here is different, because when your cat hears those words and chooses to cross the room towards you, they aren't following a command. They're telling you that every single experience they've had with you after hearing those words was good enough to come back for. They didn't learn your words. They learned you. And the most extraordinary thing about living alongside a cat is this. The lesson was never really about language at all. It was always about what you made them feel. Drop your cat's name in the comments. Just their name. That's it. Because after everything we just talked about, they deserve to be seen. And if you want to go even deeper into how your cat actually sees the world, understands the people around them, and experiences the life you've built together, the next video is already there waiting for you.